But, what have you seen as when you're dealing with training future candidates? What are some of the things that you see that I, how do I want to say this? Stops them from being good. Because
Yeah.
sometimes you can't
The
tell people
biggest,
all the time good stuff. You gotta be
yeah,
authentically real with everybody. And everybody is not gonna go out there and win.
absolutely. There's only one winner on the stage, but you can become a winner in your life.
Hmm.
The thing that I work the most on, it's not getting them stage ready, it's getting them life ready. And so interview, because of my profession and because of my coaching, what I do is I kind of take them back to a place. Where are your stops? Where are your barriers? Where are your blocks? And generally that happens sometime in childhood, where we have an inner child moment where we're kind of stuck. We're not, through it, whether it's trauma or somebody was rude and mean to you, you don't know how to move forward from that age, and that affects your life as an adult. So that's where we get insecurities, or that's where we feel unworthy. When you have a state of mind that you feel unworthy, you can't progress. You can't get what you want in life. You have to be able to work through those, pull yourself up out of that. And then when you're walking into an interview, when you're walking into a job situation, when you're walking on a stage, it doesn't matter. When you're competing with yourself or somebody else, you automatically have a sense of worthiness and confidence that comes because you figured out who you are and your worth. Not the right answer for an interview, not the perfect dress or walk or hair or any of that kind of stuff. It has to do with an energy of who you are. When you go and you show up and you train people, you know what this is like. They all can have a perfect body. They can have things that are gonna appeal to the judges, but there's something about them that stands out. When you work on that them part, that's where you get a winner.
You're going into um, an arena where ego is there, confidence is there, but you also talked about something that's even more impactful, the trauma of getting over things at such a young age. What was your mindset like when all that was brought to your attention to get up there and do these things? Did you have any what we might call childhood traumas going into the um, pageants?
We all, every one of us has something that has held us back. And it can be something that was horrific, and it can be something that we've just developed insecurities. The developmental stages of a child, as far as the informative parts, are from the age of roughly 2 to 7.
Hmm.
So at some stage, we have developed through, whether it's our environment, our culture, our family, we have become who we are based upon our environment.
Hmm.
Now, going into the pageant, because I had never really watched one, I didn't know anything about it. This was all brand new to me. This was so brand new to me. And so, honestly, I kind of played the role. I became what I needed to be without understanding it.
Hmm.
And, going about and moving on through life, that's not a good way of living, because you're not really enjoying yourself. I remember one time I was at Madison Square Garden and I was doing a live concert, sold out show with George Burns and Bob Hope. And I was singing a song with Bob Hope, and he would interrupt with his monologue of jokes. And anyway, I had been on the road and met up the day of the show for rehearsal, and he was like, that's not what we're doing, you don't know the song right. And he was changing everything, and I just remember at a young age going, okay girl, you got to get your shit together, and you've got to do this the way he wants you to do it.
Hmm.
And that's just it. And so I learned quickly, like, you can do hard things. You can do that. You can put your mind to something and you can do it. And then you'll work out the fear later.
Hmm.
But it really wasn't until cancer that I got real with me, that I became faced with that little girl. And to be honest, my whole fight to live was because of that little child.